Welcome to the Sovereign Free Life podcast. I'm here with Channelle, my dear, dear friend, and actually the one who introduced me to the water and this amazing opportunity around 6 years ago. I think it was almost
Yeah.
exactly 6 years ago.
Mhm.
And oh my God, we've been
Right.
on such a journey since then. And you are such a priestess, I must say, like a lot into the spiritual realms. You have done detox retreats and courses for many, many years. You've helped so many people come into a more balanced and healthy life, and not just on the physical, but on many levels of consciousness. And you've gone through like terrible things in the past, but you found your way through that. And I feel that you've become so strong through it, and you are such a beautiful creature, and you have this amazing strength, like the strength of a lioness, really inside of you as well. So yeah, I'm so honored to be here with you and to
Thank you for having
to share this time with you. And I know we are doing some great things here in the world
me.
together. So yes, please just let us know a bit about your background and how you came into these areas in life. Like, how did it all unfold for you? Would love to hear from you.
Oh, it's such a long journey, like, how can I condense it? But I guess my own healing journey and my interest in consciousness and awakening started about 2 decades ago. And then, anything on my path that's been kind of supporting that has come into the mix. So I'm quite diverse in the different backgrounds that I have. I have many, many different backgrounds. I had my own retreat center for 7 years and I've hosted globally also almost or over 100 retreats and workshops and events. Um, I am a detox coach. I help people clean their bodies through fasting, spiritual fasting, cleansing their systems. And I also do ceremonial work more related to more of my priestess background, which is serving plant medicines in ceremonial settings and taking people on a very deep dive of self-discovery and yeah, so I have that, and then I'm also from the spa industry, creating healing sanctuaries, healing places, which is what I'm doing more these days, of helping build healing centers and places where people can kind of come and do all of this in one place. So I'm quite multifaceted, multidimensional in my background, but anything that supports human evolution and human consciousness and awakening and the healing of our bodies is basically what I'm deeply passionate about. And yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And just let me know how you got to know about the water and how that journey started, because I know you have quite a story to tell, and you were very brave, like starting
Yeah.
on that journey as well.
Yeah, so the water came into my life at a conjunction where I had to think in new ways of supporting myself financially. I am a very free spirit, so I never, I was never able to have a 9 to 5 job. It's not really in my nature. And they say like 50% of the population is like that.
Mm.
Some people thrive in a 9 to 5 and they need that stability and the knowing like that day money comes in and they like that. I don't like to feel like I feel like I'm caged. I feel very imprisoned. So for me, it was also essential to find these different ways of supporting myself that was also aligning to my deep, deep values of health and healing and integrity. And then I came up, across this, and it all kind of really fitted with my lifestyle and what kind of life I was building for myself. So yeah.
And what happened? Like, who did you meet, and where were you at, and how did it change things for you?
Yeah, so
Come
this
on.
this actually happened when I was in Bali, and I needed to find a new way of supporting me and my partner back then. And we had to think like, okay, we need to do something different. And I'm happy because I saw a video with one of the leaders in our community, and he said, there's a huge wave coming, a huge wave, like a tsunami coming of people working online. This is many years ago. This is like 6, 7 years ago. Um, and he said, either you're part of that wave or you miss out. And I was looking around me, and everyone, had their nose in their phones. So I was like, yeah, he's right. There's new ways of supporting yourself, and you have to, think differently and not linear in the way that, okay, I work 1 hour and I make this much money, because there's only so many hours in a day. And I understood that, okay, we're living in new times. We're the world is changing so much. And either you're part of that change and you reinvent, you know, the system, you break out of that system that says that you have to work from 9 to 5 until you die. Or, you're part of that system. I didn't want to be part of that world because I found it quite limiting. Uh, so I saw a huge opportunity to do things in a new way that supported me and my surroundings in a good way, and all of that fitted into this model.
Mm, mm. And what happened next? How did it change things for you? Like what happened in the
Well,
month to come?
yeah, so we met our friend who was like sharing about this, and she said, you know, yeah, she explained the whole thing to us, and we started by just reaching, because I have already by then I had a huge network. I had had my retreat center for 7 years, and people had a lot of built up a lot of respect for me. And with regards to what I recommended, I don't recommend things very easily, and I'm not part of things very easily. So for me to be part of something, I need to really feel like, okay, this is actually good for people. I have to be in integrity with myself, or else I'm just not. Only for money is not good enough for me. Then I'll go into finance, and I didn't. So I had to, I had to feel like this was good for people, and I really felt that. So we started to recommend it online to our community and our friends, and that's why you also heard about it back then.
Mm,
And
mm,
that's how we started. Yeah, and
mm,
it really took off quite fast for us with
mm,
this. Because
mm,
in the start, we were relentless. We were studying. We were doing a lot of like really understanding what we were part of and putting in the hours, putting in the mindset, and also training ourselves to get out of lack consciousness. I would say that was a huge part of the start, was to look at our own blocks, look at our own limiting beliefs, and rewiring that so that we came into a different energy altogether.
mm. Yeah, that is so important. And that's something, I had a training with the top guy, like Romy Verdera, one of the top people in all of Enagic the other day, and he keeps repeating what everyone is saying. It's like 80% inner work,
Yeah,
20% skill set.
yeah,
And and this
yeah.
was something I kind of didn't like imagine the inner journey that was possible through just like buying water technology and joining a community.
Yeah.
Like and it's been
You
such
also,
an inner
uh,
journey.
through going through this for so many years now, I also see that everyone who joins go through a phase in the start where they are doubting. There's a lot of doubt. Can I do this? Will I succeed? Will I, and then it's the same every time. You have to kind of break free from all of those limiting beliefs, and you really get to face yourself. You will meet yourself in the door through this vehicle. For some reason it really stirs up people's problems. People's problems. And it does it kind of in waves. So when you hit a new goal, you have to look at it. Yeah, you really get to stretch your mindset. and especially
Mm.
when it comes to abundance and self-worth and how you really believe that you are deserving of so much or not.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
it is like a mirror and it amplifies that whole process.
Yeah, and don't you think, because I've been thinking about this a lot, because I mean we go to school, we have a teacher that tell us what to do, then we go to work, someone tells us what to do. I think, I mean, of course there are like alternative ways and people growing up in other ways, but like it's almost like this wiring of someone telling us what to do all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, one of the things that I was drawn to, I remember your post on social media on Facebook, and I was completely stuck in my 9 to 5 life, and you said you found a way out of that. And that's actually what kind of, oh my God, I need to know what this is about.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
didn't even say anything about the water, anything in that post. And then when I found out it was about the water, it was just a full click. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
because we were already quite aware of our water.
Mm.
Um, but I think that, yeah, how do you could you give some suggestions? Because I know you've been working with that mindset in people so
Mm.
much. You've helped me so much also, and through the detoxing process, how you're actually with the water and detoxing, how it changes your mindset as well. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give to those people that are still in doubt and fear and, yeah, kind
Mm.
of the survival mode, someone needs to tell me what to do mode, you know?
Yeah. Well, you really need to get to know yourself really well, what kind of person you are. I would say if you are a person that like to take orders and you like to be told what to do and have someone kind of have a boss, and some people like that. Be honest with yourself and be like, okay, that maybe this is not for you. But if you are self-driven and you are motivating, there's a lot of self-responsibility in this model. You're not going to be told what to do. You have to show up for yourself. You have to show up for your own visions. There's tons of growth here, but it's not for people who are very needy and very, they need hand holding all the time. Like when we started this, we were really like quite relentless in putting energy into understanding and studying. And so first of all, get to know yourself. What kind of person are you? Are you more of an entrepreneurial mindset? So they say that entrepreneurs, sometimes they'll jump out of the airplane and build a parachute on the way down. There's a little bit of a risk in being there's a little bit of a risk in being more of an entrepreneur, but you also have bigger opportunities to build something bigger, you know. So you have to be honest with what kind of person you are, and then you have to really dig deep in what kind of things are holding you back, what kind of belief systems were imprinted upon you from your parents, from society. Like I remember very well, like my foster mother when I grew up, one day she was standing in the bathroom and she was pushing out the last toothpaste with so much anger, and she was like, one day you'll understand that toothpaste costs money, and she was like really squeezing out the last thing, and you'll have to pay for your own toothpaste. And that's the moment where you get a program.
Mm, mm.
That's that there's too little toothpaste or whatever you get imprinted from your parents.
Yeah, that
And
there is a
you're-
lack there, that you're not
yeah,
worthy, or yeah, you have to work
yeah.
hard.
It happens early, it happens through school. And I saw also a really good example of someone that talked about these, elite school for kids where they learn like Tommy has 3 companies. Tommy sells 2 companies. How many companies does he have left? Like they learn, and meanwhile in normal schools, like Susie has 2 apples. So it's like it's a whole. You can train yourself to think big. I remember in the start of this journey, I actually watched a lot of podcasts from people who were self-made billionaires just to
Mhm.
understand their mindset. Because what I saw is that they think that the way of thinking is quite the same, that they have built their way of their worldview the same. There's no victim, they're not victims, if they fall over, they get back up. Like there's a few things that they practice, these people who really build something from scratch, and the people who are big thinkers, they have a tendency to think the same. And you have to remember, whatever someone else did or built, they're just a human. You are a human, so therefore you can also do that. And what is the distance? It's your beliefs. So you have to look at your beliefs and kind of,
Mm,
train yourself and know that beliefs are very moldable. You can change your beliefs. They're not stuck.
mm,
But you
mm,
have to expose yourself to big minds. And within this model, we have some really big minds, people who have walked that path before you. And when you expose yourself to their way of thinking, you have to be coachable too. If you're not coachable, you're not going to go very fast or
mm,
far.
mm,
You have to be open to receive that. And yeah, so really get to know yourself and study where you're stuck, study your beliefs, study the people who don't have those beliefs, and look at what they do different than you, what's
mm.
happening in their minds,
Yeah,
you know.
and what are some of the things that you learned there on the way? Like how do these like bigger minds, do they think? Like what are some of the things that you learned from there?
Yeah, well, first of all, they are very, like I said, they're very plastic in their mind. If they meet a hindrance, they jump over it. Like they find a way around it. If they fall over, they get back up. If they mess up, they learn from it. It's like they could become better and work at being better every day, stretching themselves out of their comfort zone, like not staying inside of your comfort zone. Okay, oh, it's a little bit uncomfortable to do a live on Instagram. Well, even better reason to do it. If you push, then you're gonna grow also. So you push
Mm,
out of your comfort zone slowly, not too fast either, but slowly, and then you grow with that. Um, but yeah, I know Tony Robbins has a book that I don't remember the name of the book, but he studied the minds of self-made billionaires and
wow.
patterns of how they think and what's going on in their minds. So even exposing yourself to these kind of people, uh,
Mm,
they are quick to make decisions. They don't think too much. They just make
mm,
decisions. Tony
mm,
Robbins said that. He said it's actually better to make a bad decision than no decision.
mm,
Because if you make a bad decision, you can course correct and you can get back on track. But if you make no decision, you're in this vacuum where nothing happens. So
mm,
people that are more high-end clients or builders, they don't think too much. They act more. There's more action, and they always look at, okay. In Norwegian, we have a saying. It's called uh, what's the name? The bottleneck. Where's the bottleneck of your next
mm, mm,
expansion? So
mm,
you always look at, okay, to grow this much, I have like something here that's blocking it, and you always move to move that block, and you tackle, tackle that block first, and then you move. You
mm,
don't work on something over here before you move that block. You don't make these huge lists of things that you have to do. Write three things, do all of them, and then write three more.
mm,
Don't always over overload yourself. It's better to just do less, but slowly growing, and not put yourself, at, under so much pressure.
mm, mm.
Do what works, whatever works, whatever makes you grow and move forwards, whatever
Yeah.
takes you out of stagnation. And you have to like not always look at what's happening inside of you, but look, where am I stuck? What's the energy? Like learn to read energy. If the energy stuck there, then move around it just like water. So you just constantly move. It's this
Mm,
constant energy of
mm.
moving.
And isn't it like this kind of creative spirit? Like the people that come
Yeah.
far in this business, also, it's like these free creative spirits that like what I appreciate about you, Chanel, as well, is like, well, something bad happens, and you're like, yeah, I learned from it and I move on.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, there are like grades on the scale and everything, but to kind of have this positive outlook on life in a way that I feel that you have so much.
It's happening for us, not to us, and stepping
Yeah,
out of the
exactly.
period, and just always seeing like, okay, how can I learn from this? How can I become better? How can I, and also since we're talking about that, also in this journey, once you start to really grow, you will also meet some haters. And that's
Mm,
also, how to tackle that once the world starts to want to kind of, you expand and the world wants you to stay the same. There's so much happening in this journey that's all quite
mm.
fun. And
Yeah,
it's
and that's a
hard.
plus, actually. That's a positive thing. I know we talked about
Yeah.
it before. It's like, wow, now you're actually making an impact. You're
Yeah.
touching people. You're like awakening some emotion in people. And that's a good thing because you're stirring the pot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Really.
having an influence on people. And
Yeah.
some
And if you,
people it will awaken a lot of feeling and other people will just love it.
yeah.
So yeah, tell me a bit about that because I know actually like in the team that we're working in, that is a big fear for a lot of people. Like, oh my God, what are people gonna say and are they gonna like it or not? I remember because we work with building personal brands, like expressing ourselves, being ourselves authentically on social media and just sharing our voice, which I think is beautiful. But I remember the first kind of post that I made that was like starting my online brand. I felt like standing naked on the stage. Like I was just like, oh my
yeah.
God, what am I doing? What are people gonna think? And of
Yeah.
course you grow into it, like you say, when you kind of push yourself, and then now it's just like, oh, alive, that's no problem, and doing this and like, you know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I guess that's also one of the things, of people who really make it. They they don't spend too much time thinking what other people think of them, other than the people who really matters. Like
Mm,
for me too, like I don't care what people who don't know me think of me. The people who are close to me, I do care about that. I do care about their opinion, but people who are strangers to me, I don't, that's not really affecting me. So, but it is a journey to get to that space of um yeah, thinking more about the vision and the dream than what other people might think about that, for sure.
mm. And what do you do like with those people that are hating and like
I
how do
block
you
them out.
handle it?
I don't have time.
Just
I don't
block
have, I have
them.
zero energy for that. I don't have time. For me, I have so much beauty to create. So why would I spend any energy on people who hate? I don't have time for it. I'm too busy. And it's
Mm,
really liberating to just be like, it's not, I don't, if I put my energy there, I'm no better.
mm,
If I put my energy into the haters, I'm a part of that hate. And
mm,
it's also a
mm,
little bit self-consuming. It's still me being self-obsessed. I'm focused on creating beauty, and that's the only energy that I choose to where my energy goes. I think when you get overly concerned what people think of you, and you're also in drama, right? So I have made a decision to not be part of drama. And that's also another thing, like you will see in any arena in life, like you decide to be part of these dramas or not. And the people are really focused on the goal and building are doing that while other people are arguing.
mm,
So that's another quality that is good to have on this journey, is to not get consumed in drama
mm,
and not
mm.
pay too much attention what people are blah, 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 blah over here. It's like, well, I'm very busy building paradise over here. I don't have time
Yeah,
cleaning up
exactly.
cleaning up the planet. So yeah.
I think it's important to kind of draw the line between like a healthy debate of things
Yeah.
where people are respectful and like, well, I think like this, and how do you see that? To
Yeah.
when people are just, calling you names and just being rude. It's like if you would invite someone to your house, you wouldn't allow that. Like you would
No.
throw them out, like, okay, there's the door. Thank you. I
Yeah.
don't want to have that in my house. Like it's the
Yeah.
same thing when you're creating a space online, right? It's like this
Absolutely.
is my space and I get to choose like what do I
Yeah.
want to have in that
And
space?
I think it's something important to remember. Something Tarek usually says, it's like, are these people actually living a life that you want to live? These people that are criticizing you. Usually they're not. You know, people who actually live beautiful, holistic, wholesome, kind lives, they tend to not spend their time belittling others. So
Mm, mm,
you have to see the people who are putting you down. Are they actually living the life you want to live? Because most of the
mm,
time, I would say, like,
mm.
never in my situation, they never do. So
But
why do
it's
I
like, yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah.
So why would I spend my time worrying about what they think about me? And
Mm.
actually, a lot of the time, the haters are actually admirers. They're secret admirers. You know, they just don't know, they can't admit it, but usually they are. So, yeah,
No, but it's funny. I've had that happen a couple of times where people are like looking at what I do and they're like, no, 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 this is not for me, not at all. And they're having this reaction. But then, like a couple of months later, they come back and, like, you know
yeah,
what? Now I want to do this now. Like,
yeah,
for
yeah,
some people, there's this kind of, no, it's not possible. It can't be. I mean, I
yeah,
had that in me too. It was like there must be some hook somewhere. It must be
yeah,
a scam. It can't be this good. You
yeah,
kind of like your mind gets in the way and just like, no, no,
mhm,
no, it's not possible. Like there has to be something bad.
yeah,
And that
yeah,
can happen. Like fortunately, when I really looked into it, you have to study it. You have to give it a chance to actually look into it. And when I did that, it was like there is no hook. I
mhm,
remember that feeling like there is nothing bad here. There's no hook. This is like all good, all together.
mhm.
And yeah, and that was but I think it takes, like you said, also with entrepreneurs, it takes an honest mindset where you
Yeah.
kind of have this kind of baseline of being honest with yourself and looking at
Yeah.
things like without being distracted by everyone else, like
A
looking at
little bit
that.
also like it's kind of like extreme sports to some extent. Like some people don't do those. And some forms of entrepreneurship, you know, it takes a specific extreme mindset in some ways. You need to be able to like stretch your mind. You can't be stuck in this like mentality that is actually outdated. It's old world paradigm. We are moving into a whole not, you know, new society. How many jobs are going to disappear the next decades? They say like over 60%. No, even more with all the AI and all the computers, and you have to think differently because the whole world is changing so fast. So, you know, with that in mind, like this like 9 to 5 mindset is actually outdated. It's part of the old world structure. There are ways to make as much as a year's salary in a month if you only know how to work, you know, the internet and scale. So we are living in new times, and either you're part of that wave or you're not. And
Yeah, yeah. I mean, actually talking about scaling, because I have this automated system that is in place. I just have people come onto calls, and a lot of the people that come interested in this, they see this, they've been entrepreneurs in some way, and they understand like someone who is a coach, for instance, that you can only like if you just have this amount of time and you get an amount for that time, there is no scaling. And I was there as well. I worked as a coach for many years, and if I was sick for a weekend, I would, lose all of that money. Like it was a
yeah,
huge thing. Like there is no one to replace me, and there's no, like, you only trade time for money. And so
yeah,
even though you're not in a 9 to 5, people jump onto entrepreneurship, but they still use the same kind of thinking. And
yeah,
these people that they're coming to the next step where they see the scalability, where you build this exponential curve of, like, once it starts rolling, where like you and me are, like
yeah,
there's no way stopping it even. Like it's just building, like it's just growing every
mm,
year, and you build this long-term plan. So I was talking to this guy the other day that's like joining full on. He was like, what do I do? Like, because he saw this, and he's like, yeah, here you can just, you make some money. And I think you have to have that investor mindset. He was just, give me the best package, give me the best that you have. And which is an investment, but he was just saying like, well, if he saw the investor possibility where if I just, make this amount of sales, that investment is done, and then it's only plus.
Yeah.
after that. He's like, it's a no-brainer. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So it takes a little bit of brains to even think like that. And I don't mean to be rude, but it's actually like either you think about your future or you don't. Like a lot of people don't only think about now or the next month or the next year. But if you're smart, you also think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you think longer into the future. And where you and I are now, like it's only six years since we started or a little bit more. And we are very, soon we're going to be set up for life. And that's, so that's also what was very lucrative for me with this was like it's a long-term plan. It's not just for now. It's actually a very sustainable, good system for the future to think about your future. And I think too few people do that. And also me, like I'm 38, and I see a lot of women also, put a lot of energy into different things and then their life collapses and then they're just standing there sometimes actually in my friends I have a lot of friends that are single mothers and sometimes I see also the man run off with all the money and then they're just stuck there. So it's also a good way of supporting your family, putting up a safety net for your children, not only a safety net but something where you also can be present, where you're not gone for 8 hours or 9 hours every
Mm,
day.
mm,
You actually can be with your family. And I
mm,
think a lot of people saw the value of that during COVID. They were like, this is actually quite nice. We're spending more time together because the
mm,
children are also home from school and people had more time for their families.
mm,
And with
mm,
this, you can actually have more time for what matters the most. And time is also a currency. It's not only money. It's also time and what you choose to use your time on. And that's actually the highest currency for me is time freedom. So which is also
mm.
why I've been into this, because for me to give away all of my soul energy every single day to something I'm not that passionate about, like I can't do it. It's impossible for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
And I think there's so many out there that are like constantly going against their values just to put food on
yeah,
the table. And
yeah,
I guess we're just saying there's another way. And that was the case for me. Like,
yeah,
just saw the time with my kids. Someone else was spending more time with my kids than I
yeah,
was. And
yeah.
that's
That's
just crazy. Like, the
funny.
kids need their parents. They need like to build up that
Yeah,
security to be with the like primary caretakers. That's
yeah,
like my husband and I have talked about it like that. We've been able to fully be with our kids for many years, like as a family. Like just imagine what kind of like psychological security that has built for our kids. Like we
of
see them
course.
so kind of confident and so happy and so like yeah. So we have such good connections, between us
Of
in the
course.
family.
Yeah,
And yeah, that was such a huge part for me also doing this full on. Like if it's just spending a couple of hours per day, like I did for the first year, and then
yeah,
being able to quit my job. I mean, yeah, oh God, I'm so grateful. Like honestly, like it almost brings tears to my eyes that you can't really put value on that. Like you say, the time that you
yeah,
get to spend with your children or the things that really matter to you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
Mm.
mm. And just really jumping to something completely different, but like kind of picking your brain as a detox coach for many, many years. And would you like to like share a bit about like how important it is with detox? Like why is that one of your passions and also related to the water? Like
Yeah,
I would love to hear some more about that because like we said, and in my experience, it's so much also connected to the mindset. Like
mhm,
having gone through some of your programs, like I really experienced this firsthand where like, oh my God, this is actually clearing my mind. Like
yeah,
when I'm detoxifying.
yeah, oh, for sure.
Mm,
Well, yeah, I am, and I have been deeply passionate about helping people clean their systems because we live in a very polluted world that, our bodies are not made to handle all of this pollution. And from an early age, even seeing people have to go through some really chronic diseases and all of the pain and suffering that the world we've created is causing a lot of people is avoidable. A lot of it is avoidable. And so I became passionate about helping people to clean their systems, and kind of support in the cleanup of Earth in that way through people's bodies, because we're not made to be constantly be sick and fatigued. And if you look around you, how many people do you know that are like bubbling and full of life in the grown-up world? You'll see kids that way because that's the natural way for kids, but it's actually also not the natural way for us when we are thriving. We should be bubbly and full of energy, and you don't see many people like that anymore
Mhm.
unless you work on it a little bit. And so for me, it's been a passion of mine because also I see insane results when people clean their bodies. It's the fast way of, I even see it in my retreats because I teach this in my retreats, and seeing people, they struggle with yoga or they struggle with meditating. And I'm like, just fast. Just fast, because once you fast, you're naturally going to go into a state of meditation, because that's what happens when you stop consuming and polluting your body. You're going to a higher vibrational state and you will naturally go into a state of meditation. And then with the yoga, people can go for years and still feel like I'm not making much progress. My body is so stiff. But once you start to clean your system and you don't eat inflammatory foods, so you start to eat food that's anti-inflammatory, food that's not causing an attack on your body, but foods that are clean, supportive, cleansing foods, you will see that the inflammations in the body will go down. And once the inflammation goes down, your body opens. So even in my retreats, when people do 10 days, I put them on a very clean diet and we fast. Their bodies, because I also teach yoga, it's insane to see how fast the body opens when you don't pollute it.
Mhm.
So for me, it's like fasting and cleaning your system is the fast way to a higher state of being and a more beautiful life. One that's not filled with disease and anxiety and all this, also brain fog, all of these things that we pollute our system and we go around in this haze, and we also feel like low on energy, and there's so many things. So it's a whole world within detox, like it's a
Mhm.
whole, but I'm passionate about it because I know that it works so well. It's like one of my favorite tools in the whole world to support people, because the experience of it is so beautiful and strong, and you can feel it from the inside. You start
Mhm.
um yeah, so it's one of the most powerful tools, detoxing your body, cleaning your body, and allowing your body to heal, regenerate, and yeah, not pollute your body, which also the water also does that on a daily basis. It cleans your
Mhm.
body.
Mhm.
And I think I'm a friend of David Wolf, and he said it so beautifully. He said, and he's one of the leading experts in the world on detox and fasting and juicing, and he said it so well. Like, if you don't have a water filter, your body becomes the filter.
Mhm.
Your body has to filter out all of those things, all the heavy metals, all the toxins, and all the chemicals that a filter is supposed to do for you.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
uh, it's important to have clean water. I think for me, like, I'm deeply passionate about anything that's healing us. And for me, taking care of clean water, a good bed, like, you should always invest in these things that are so basic for our health. They're fundamental for us to function. So when
Mhm.
people are like, oh, it's not important to me, I'm like, okay, so you are not important to you. Okay, good, good to know. You should really important prioritize these things that are so fundamental for our health. And I think the older we get, the more important these things become.
Mhm. Mhm.
This like, it doesn't become less important, it just becomes more important.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I was thinking, like, what would you say are the things to avoid? Like, what it contains, like, the highest amount of toxins? Because it's, once you're aware of it, you're kind of scared. You go to the grocery store, and it's like, it's almost nothing I can eat here. It's like all these kind of, foods that are like fast foods or not like half mixed
Yeah.
with all these kind of things. And I think a lot of people are not just aware of what is in them.
They're not. So the more processed a food is, the more the more things a food has been through, the further away from its original form, the more toxic. So the more processed, the more toxic. The
Hmm.
more raw, natural, the more healthy. So that's like one universal rule. And of
Hmm.
course, if you consume a lot of dead things and dead animals, the animals are on the top of the food chain with regards to toxins,
Hmm.
like with regards to accumulation of toxins. The animal eating animals is going to create a lot of problems in your body. It causes a lot of acidity, also a lot of inflammations. So
Hmm.
yeah, so eating natural raw fruits and vegetables, clean, the less contaminants.
Sorry, Chanel, you're breaking
Intake.
off now again. Oh, now
Can you hear
it's,
me?
yeah, now it's a bit better. Yeah,
Yeah.
go
So the
on.
more in its original shape, its original form, think like clean. But I also like what I teach also in my retreats and workshops is also that you have to learn to read energy like you do with people. You could do that with food too. So when you go to the grocery store, look at the vegetables. Don't just autopilot take what you always take. Like take, for example, a fruit, hold it in your hand and feel the prana. The prana means the life force. Feel the energy of what you're eating. Look at what you're in the grocery store. Look at the fruits and vegetables, for example, and what kind of colors do you feel pulled towards? Because your body is very, very intelligent and it does talk. And whatever you feel like a pull towards, you also need more of. So I remember this in the winter in Norway a few years ago. When I came to the grocery store, my body was so pulled to the oranges and all the yellows, and I actually needed vitamin C. So usually, just also learn to read your body. Your body talks to you, talks to your body. And when you eat, also hold the food in front of you before you eat and ask their body, do you want this? Let's say I would sit here with a McDonald's meal, a Happy Meal or whatever. And I ask my body before I eat, their body, do you want this? Not my tongue or my mouth, but my body. My body would, have an opinion about that. So we also can learn to actually tune into what we're eating before we're eating it, and then respect the voice of the body and be more attuned and aligned and listen. Like most people don't listen. We're not tuned or trained to listen to our own system. So we have to learn to feel. Like when I eat, let's say a beautiful salad or even a bowl of mango, like my body gets super happy like a dog, you know. You're happy, like, hey, we're gonna have this. And I also feel amazing afterwards. So how do you feel afterwards? If you feel like shit after you had a meal, that's not food. That's garbage. Now your body has to process that. So also learn to feel. Actually, your food is supposed to energize you. So it's supposed to give you energy,
Mm.
minerals, and vitamins, and nutrients, and you're supposed to feel like radiant after you eat. So if you feel depleted, if you feel like you need to go and have a nap after you eat, these are all signs that you ate something your body don't want.
Mm. Mm.
So we can also learn to listen in that way that we see how the body reacts. You're not supposed
Oh,
to feel
that's so
sleepy.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like this deepening in the self-respect in a way. Like
Yeah.
we're not taught self-respect. Like you said, we're
Yeah.
taught to listen to someone else or to be pleasing others, or and I think that kind of deep listening is so, so important in so many aspects of life. I'm thinking about like listening to like your soul's longing and to your visions, to your body, to like on all these different levels in a way, to like to your emotions and your thoughts. And
Yeah.
many people just rush on in their lives and they never stop and kind of just, oh my God, like what am I doing? Like what is going on here? Like who am I really?
Yeah. Well, it's all the game of consciousness, no matter which field you're in. It doesn't
Mm.
matter if it's nutrition or if it's taking care of the planet, taking care of your body, working with your mindset. It's all about consciousness and
Mm, mm,
more, awareness we can kind of infuse into our day-to-day world, whatever we're doing.
mm,
It doesn't matter
mm.
what
Yeah,
we're doing.
it's this detoxing on many levels, right? Like on
Yes.
multiple levels.
Yeah, I call it actually my word, I call it multidimensional detox because you're detoxing it. Let's say you are actually going through a cleanse like you are now, you're doing a water cleanse.
Mm,
And when you're cleansing, you will release toxins that maybe came into your body 20 years ago, 10
mm,
years ago. Not
mm,
only the recent stuff, you will also start to detox things that came into your body a very long time ago. And once, that starts to flush through your lymphatic system, your blood system, the memory of the feeling you had when you ate that particle came into your body. Let's say you
mm,
ate something from sadness and you were having a hard time back then. That will flush through your system. You will start to feel the emotions of whatever happened back then. So you're
mm,
detoxing the emotions, you can start to detox belief systems. We have to look at our belief systems and detox some of them too. Our
mm,
emotion, like we have so many bodies. So we have in the Vedic systems, in the Asian traditions, we have what's called different koshas. Kosha means body. So you
mm,
have your physical body, but you also have your emotional body. You have your mental body that your mind is connected to, the intellect. You have an energetic body that we call the auric field that they're also in science now recognizing. And the more you do this, actually, the more you have these different bodies, these different structures. You don't end here. We don't end here. We end further, like far, far, far out. And the more we grow in consciousness, our energy body can actually expand miles out of our physical body. And that's also why they say, that an awakened human being is more powerful than millions of people that are sleeping. And the reason for that is that the energy body expands as consciousness expands. We actually push out and we
mm.
become really, really big. We could become
Wow, that's
energetically quite
amazing.
big. Yeah, it's really
Mm.
amazing. And you can
But
really feel it.
it's
You can
so
feel it.
important, I think, because I felt that been going through very tough year, that last year, and my father passed away, and this kind of what do you say, tröstätande, like you eat because you're
Emotional,
sad or you have
emotional.
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely guilty of that,
Yeah.
And I'm on my fourth day of water fasting now, which is, and I feel that the first 3 days are always tough. Like I've done it before. And like for me, there was so much emotion coming up, like irritation and such
Yeah.
headache and this and that. And like you said, it just felt like that is what I've been suppressing. Like there is no way around it. Like there is no, like you always kind of face things in the end, but we
Yeah.
still kind of go back to these old habits. But now, actually, today, like you said, I just feel so peaceful. Like this
Yeah.
complete clarity, like you say, being almost like in a meditative state.
Yeah.
It's completely
That's
connected.
also say in all holistic healing, things needs to come up before it goes out. So there is a phase that, all of these emotions and no, you can feel annoyed or irritated or anger and sadness, and all of this will flush through you as it's moving out of your field. It's coming up to get cleansed out. And that's a good thing. What is not a good thing is for people to go years, decades, and suppress their feelings and not, voice their needs or their feelings and then suppress it. And then they get sick. You will get sick.
Yeah,
These
then it gets more serious sickness, right? That's what I
get
think.
chronically ill. Like
Yeah.
you can actually
Mm.
get a lot of disease. It's just emotions that are stuck.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
All
amazing
inter
thing. But I
it's,
think one of the
it,
things that actually keeps people stuck, I believe, is this kind of things should be comfortable and you just like
yeah.
take a pill. Like for instance, I had problems with gallstones last year, quite
Mm.
severe, and they wanted to take my like gallbladder away. And I
Wow.
was like, no, no way, I'm not going to take it away. I'm doing
Mm.
it my own way. But it was painful and it took time. It like I did liver cleanses I still do them, but like for half a year and then it was gone.
Yeah.
But I think it's this kind of well, quick fix. Everything should be comfortable. Like you're not
Take a
uh,
pill.
dedicated to go through some discomfort to then
Yeah.
afterwards actually, like now I have my gallbladder still, and I'm not gonna, like there are lots of problems taking it away. It's like it's there for a
Huge,
reason. Of course it
huge
should be there.
problems. Yeah, huge
Yeah.
problem. I think to
No,
taking
but I
things.
think like this dedication to go through some discomfort, it's also with the like the business side of things. Like, yeah, it might take some energy, investments, time, but then it will like in 10 years you'll have all the time, all the money, everything you need. It's yeah, it's this kind of comfortability that is keeping so many people from
Yeah,
life in a way. Don't you agree?
absolutely. Yeah. No, it is. We yeah, we don't understand healing very well. Like as a race, we're quite immature in our understanding of healing. We like quick fixes, and then we don't understand that it's actually creating more problems. We're just
Yeah.
pushing the forwards. For example, taking a pill for a headache. Like the headache is there for a reason. Maybe you need some water. Maybe you need to rest. You're not listening. So again, it's this constant like listen deeper and be more at service to yourself. And yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's a deep self-care in a way, and the same there. Do not just always listen to the doctor. Like if I would have listened to the doctor,
yeah,
it wouldn't be there any longer. Like
yeah. Oh, that's
always a
horrible.
way. Like you can find creative solutions for so many
Yeah,
things in a way.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely.
But Chanel, just to kind of start to round this up, I would
Yeah,
love to hear because I know you have and always had like big visions also for the future, and you're involved in so many projects. I don't know how many of them that you can speak about right now, but
yeah.
would love to just let you share a bit about like where you see what you're doing, where you see it going, and what you are, the bigger things that you're here to create.
Oh, yeah. So I am. I would love to speak about that, but I'm actually under an NDA. I've signed like papers. I'm not allowed to speak too much about that. Um, but
Mm,
I think it's all about, you know, finding where you are in your A game and finding your gifts, finding your talents. And when we go on this journey, we see that we all have different talents, we all have different gifts, and we all have different, places where we thrive. So I've arrived at a place in my life where everything is kind of accumulating into this one thing, one diamond, one pearl, like that is all kind of coming together very beautifully. Um, yeah, which is again, it's all about creating uh, healing and a place for consciousness to be cultivated and nurtured, and a place also where nature again is honored, and that we're coming back to the sacredness of nature, the sacredness of water. We've lost the sacredness in life. We just turn on the tap and expect the water to just always be there, and we're taking, something that's alive and has a consciousness. Water is not dead. Water has a consciousness. It's a living being. You can talk to water. It responds. So coming back to this place where we are again remembering the sacredness of nature, not taking it for granted. And we nurture and we understand that we're custodians. We're not owners. We don't own anything. We came here to take care of and nurture and protect what is sacred. And right now, through this vessel, you have the opportunity to be part of a movement that honors water and protects water, and understand that, to contribute to people having clean, structured, healing water in their homes is one of the most beautiful things you can do. If you want to change the world, like that is actually one of the ways we can change the world, because if you change the water, you change people's consciousness. You really do. You change. If people drink polluted water, and I'm traveling, I have to drink this. It's not very nice. Plastic bottled water. There's many places in the world they don't have anything else than plastic bottled waters. Drinking microplastics.
mm,
So, for me, it's all coming back to whatever I'm doing. It's all coming back to that same essence of bringing, healing and health and beauty to the planet. And I would love to speak exactly in what way, but that will have to be later because I'm not allowed to speak. It's very, yeah, it's good for me because I
Mm.
have to, yeah,
Yeah, but I know you're right in your essence, like of what you're supposed to do.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see that, which is so beautiful. And I think, like you say, I believe like everyone has this pure essence, this kind of soul, and the more we can listen to that and embody that and step into that, I mean, the more beautiful this world becomes, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
you are needed, like every person is needed to step into their greatness, step into their true path. And
yeah,
if I think if you feel that you're not on that path, what we have here is something that has shifted so many people's lives to be able
yeah,
to like actually practically and
yeah,
kind of open that path.
mm,
And but it's like you say, you have to go through some discomfort. You have to expand. You have to kind of
yeah,
have the willingness and coachability. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
if you have that, it's so beautiful to see the transformations in people. Like I know you love that as well when people
yeah. Take
start
the
to
path.
transform their health and start to
Yeah,
become vibrant and happy. And I remember actually one of the events that we had, and usually like physical events, and usually they're the people that, drink the water and that are in the community, they go up and share like their testimonials. And somebody said after the event, like all those people standing there, you were so vibrant and so happy. Like, what have you done? Like
yeah,
you said, this kind of playfulness and vibrant energy. I was like,
mm,
yeah, it's the water. Like,
yeah. It's the water, but also being in your purpose. I think that helps too,
mm,
and just really also feeling
that
that you're on
energy.
your, yeah, that you're on your path, your mission, and you're on your in your A game. That helps too. And that's also
Yeah.
another side of this. A lot of people are in jobs they feel like they're wasting away and they don't really love what they're doing. And of course, that's also going to eat at your life force for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just had one new guy joining the team, and I think just the matter that there's hope. You see
Yeah.
a path,
Yeah.
out of something that is not beneficial. It's not good, but you didn't see the path out. But just the hope that, wow, here I have a path.
Yeah.
I think
There's
that
a way
gives so
out.
much energy to people. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sure. For sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
But Channelle, thank you so, so much for being
Thank
on
you.
here with me. Anything else you would love to add or like finish with before we round up?
Yeah. I guess if you're at the start of this journey, know that everyone at the start of this journey goes through a phase of who am I to do this? You know, there's a lot of doubt in the start of this journey that everyone I've met, including me, has gone through. And it's kind of part of the journey. And it's part of like you have to break free of all of that. And yeah, just know that if you are right now sitting with like, well, I don't know if I can do it, and this, there's a lot of doubt there, just know that it's actually part of the process. And that doubt is what needs to be detoxed and need to be cleared as part of the journey, as part of the step towards excelling in this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, that's beautiful, Chanel. And thank
Yeah.
you again for starting me on this journey. Like,
Thank you.
what
Thank
would
you.
I be without you? Like my life has completely changed and yours too.
Yeah. We're so blessed. And it's also fun because you end up with this soul family that, we bonded for life through water, which is very beautiful.
Yes, definitely. So, so thankful to have you in my life, Chanel, as a friend
Pleasure.
and a
Pleasure.
business partner in all
Yeah.
many ways.
Ollie. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you so much. Thank you.
you.